and welcome back to our second broadcast of the night. Welcome to WTL 2023 Winter KungFu Cup round number 4. I'm of course your host Live VIP, and with me I'm joined by my lovely plushies, the people in the chat, the people in the bracket, as well as the bracket is massive as it typically is, and we are just diving right into our first best of 3, our first series of the night. Spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Hecate, we have the Filipino pink Zerg player representing his new team, Team Little Fairy. It is EnDerr. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Firefly. Here we go. Alright, and as we get into this, should quickly just go over the event itself. For those wondering, what even is KFC? It is not chicken, but you should be eating chicken tonight. It is the KungFu Cup. KungFu Cup, of course, it is a weekly tournament that is open to the world with a massive prize pool, and it brings together the best players in the world. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves, because mate, the bracket, it is stacked. And we have a returning player that we haven't had in quite some time. We have the best Zerg player in the world. Several is on the bracket. My oh my, and it was very tempting to try to head in that direction to begin with, but I'm pretty sure there are going to be some walkovers. We can go over the bracket later, but right now there are a lot of first round matches that have not started because players are looking for their opponents. So we're going to let them look, we're going to let the walkovers come and go, and I'm sure we'll catch several later on in the night. I'm sure of it. For now, we're going to be featuring some of our other players here. Players that we know and love, of course, in WTL in our own region, as we have EnDerr here from Southeast Asia, of course, and Firefly from Asia proper, from the land of China. And this is going to be an interesting one. Again, EnDerr, unfortunately, as he did participate in the qualifiers for ESL Masters Asia, EnDerr did not make it through. He did not make it into the main event. Firefly is in the main event. You know, Firefly, he's going to be participating in the regionals here of ESL Masters Asia, and EnDerr is looking to prove that he is of the caliber of player to keep up with a player like Firefly. Can he though? That is the question. EnDerr has been on that grind. He has been practicing, he's been streaming, he's been playing a lot of StarCraft over the past couple of months. Can he keep up? Can he bamboozle a player like Firefly? Firefly, who has been on fire. And he flies. Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. it's wild. Who recently joined a new team and was picked up, was scouted out because of his performance in WTL Summer. Now in WTL Winter, he is, of course, looking strong as well. And for now, Hatch Gas Pool, standard openers. ZW gets across the map. Already 2 drones. Oh, do go down. Looks like we won't get a third though, as the Adept is going to be forced back with 2 workers already, and the Adept survives. Is an insane amount of damage, and now comes the second Adept. No! We can one-shot workers. 1, 2, an extra third drone goes down. Can we get a 4th? Can we get a 5th? 7 in total. Can we get 8? We can't quite get 8, but alas, already an insane amount of damage this early on. This is a bit unacceptable for 2 Adepts to get this out of hand, to get 7 workers. Finally, they do go down. Finally, they do get cleaned up, but alas, EnDerr, he is going to be struggling here in the early game. He's sending a wave of links across the map to try and punish his opponent. Back at home, Firefly did go for a Stargate opener, is going Oracle first in towards a third base. The links are here to deny the third. They can at least accomplish that. But when it comes to harassment, Firefly is not done. Nowhere near, nowhere close, as the Oracle is zooming across the map. Meanwhile, EnDerr going to try to force the issue. He's going to try and force his way through this Adept. 1 Adept is going to go down, and we're working on the second. Meanwhile, the Oracle gets across the map. No spores, no second queen. A delay on the second queen. 4 drones go down on top of what we lost earlier. Looking at the units lost tab here, 11 drones in total. That is insane. And as a result, Firefly has a massive worker lead. It's not just about the workers that were killed, it's also about the links that were made and the workers that weren't made in place of them, I should say. As EnDerr does delay the third base a little bit longer, gets a kill on a second probe. That is something that helps. And once again, we rotate around. Well, God, we're going to force a third delay. We're doing what we can, but you can only delay for so long as a third is thrown down once again. Lings do try to go for a big surround here. They kill one adept. And we're going for the next one as well. Again, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of onus here on EnDerr. He's got 10 more Lings in production. He gets a kill on both adepts. He gets a surround here on this third base. It looks like we will force another cancel. Force a cancel, another surround as well. EnDerr getting a surprising amount of damage done here. He heads towards that natural base. The wall! The wall is on the wall. The Lings, they do flood in. We go straight for the pylon. Alas, the Oracle does chip away at these Lings. More Lings are on the way. Do we go for the adepts or do we go for the pylon? The pylon is going to go down. We depower the gateways. We depower the robo as well. The Lings do flood into the main base. The third base still has not been thrown down once again. Things are getting out of hand. Things are getting out of control. Oracle's doing what they can. The third Oracle has arrived. We get a full surround here. Probes, even more, are falling to these Lings. And finally, EnDerr is cleaned up. Back at home, spores are on the way. We're saturating our bases as well. And we have a Roach Warren in production. So, EnDerr, he has done enough to stabilize. That's the crazy thing. All those probe kills, that was enough to just even things up here as Firefly's transition is thrown down. It's going to be a Robo, not a Twilight Council. Interesting choice here. Firefly going for more tech-heavy style. Another probe goes down. Once again, another delay on this base. We have 4 gates on the way, and Firefly may be forced into a 2-base all-in. He should expand. He should take a 3rd base, but we are going to be spending our resources on warp pins. There we go. Another gateway on the way. So far, we have 6 gates. Now a 7th gateway. Do we go up to 8? Do we just go all in? EnDerr, did he poke the bear too much? Did he force this out of Firefly? And can he handle what he just forced out? As 2 adepts do get across the map. Lings are in position though, and we shouldn't be losing too many drones, but maybe I spoke too soon because the Lings are going down. Oh. For 1 drone. It's okay. EnDerr's got more Lings on the way. I'm a little bit concerned by the lack of saturation. The saturation's okay for EnDerr, but we could have done with a couple more workers as we are committing to a 2-base all-in. Firefly, he's like, mate, you wanted this. You denied my 3rd. Okay, I won't get a 3rd. Have it your way. And we'll see if EnDerr can have it his way. As here we go. What do we have to do? What do we have to push? What do we have to defend? 2 Immortals, 3 Sentries, a bunch of Stalkers, a War Prism to reinforce, and to juggle said Immortals. Good force fields out of Firefly. Queens are being focused down. As Firefly fully walls, almost fully walls off the Lings. They do flood in. But we have the Oracles to support. The Lings are going down. They completely get cleaned up. We got another warping of Stalkers, and it looks like Firefly, he's snowballing out of control. He's getting us over the Queens. He is getting on top of the Ravagers. He takes a Ravager Wild to the face, but he doesn't care, not anymore. He just has too much. There's too much Protoss, too much Firefly. And EnDerr, he made this happen. GG gets called. Firefly takes game number 1. Whew. GG. That was a game. Oh my god. Again, it was a disastrous start. A disastrous start for EnDerr where he had sustained far too much economic damage, so he was kind of committed himself. He was just flooding Lings across the map, sending it, puppy, sending it. And he did a surprising amount. I was very impressed. He was able to deny the base 2-3 times. He was able to somehow wedge his way into the natural base, able to flood on through, able to wreak havoc and cause a lot of chaos and even things up. He was able to even things up, economically at least. But because of all the damage that he dealt, it forced an all-in. It forced Firefly, okay, I'm not expanding. I'm throwing down 5 more gateways. We're going all in with 2 Immortal Sentries and nothing but vanilla Stalkers. Not even Blink. Not even Blink on these Stalkers. Vanilla Stalkers. With +1. Sure, that's fine. And EnDerr, unfortunately, couldn't quite handle the creation that he had made, that he had constructed. His economy was looking good, but he needed a little bit more time. To get into the rest of his army. That also goes to show just how behind he was as well, because he was investing so much into droning and maybe had over-droned towards the end just because he needed a standing army. He needed Ravagers very quickly. By the time he had them, it was too late. He was already being forced into his natural base, and again, things just got out of hand. GG. GG, well played. Firefly does take the first game, but it's a series, and we can come back, I believe. Meanwhile, when it comes to the bracket itself, !B in the chat, we will go over it after this series. After the series does conclude, we'll be jumping on the bracket. We can quickly go over everything that's going on, and then we can look for our next series. I already have an idea of where I want to go when it comes to our bracket, but in the back of my mind, again, Serral is in the bracket as well, and I would love to cast him again. I would love to follow him in some way, but I believe in his ability to go for a deep run, and I know that, hey, look, if I want to catch Serral, I can catch him like in the quarterfinals or in the semifinals. Like, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. Copium. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner. In the bottom right hand corner of of Oceanborn, we have the Filipino Zerg player, the best player in all the Philippines, the pink Zerg, representing his new team, Little Fairy. It is EnDerr. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Chinese Protoss, the blue Protoss, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Firefly. Catching up in the Jaga. Fresh out of the bath on a spaceship. Oh, it's been years since I've had a bath. I don't own a bath. I can't take a bath. I can't bathe myself. Oh, smooch. Aye. Beyond Skill's first match, no. I think some of the other casters, some of the other community casters out there have gone for Beyond and Skilless. It is a very high-profile match, don't get me wrong, but I'm more than happy to shed some light on some of these other players that I'm a fan of course. Like, I love EnDerr, I love Firefly. Would love to see them both do well. Would love to cover them, and again, we can go over the rest of the bracket momentarily once we have a look, or once we do wrap things up here. As there are a lot of high-profile matches that are going on, and a lot of walkovers that I think are about to be had. The other match that I was looking at that I was very tempted to go for was Silky versus Nightmare. That was my first pick, actually, Silky versus Nightmare. But Silky was MIA, and that could be a walkover. Unfortunately, that could be a walkover. Bathing is overrated anyway, mate. True. I mean, I feel like bathing is more like I feel like you don't bathe to clean. You bathe to, like, you know, relax, right? Like, it's like a way to, like, you know, chill out. You know, you put some music on. Maybe you read a book. Maybe you, like, put on some Netflix and chill sort of thing, right? Like, it's yeah. It's more of like a relaxation sort of thing. I mean, I guess you could also you could clean yourself while you're bathing. True, but I don't know. It's yeah, I feel like maybe you do it for, like, therapeutic purposes more so than otherwise. We may just get an all-in, by the way. What's happening right now? What? As we're getting into our opener, it's going to be a gate expand into a Cybercore, into a Stargate, standard opener here out of Firefly. EnDerr went for a hatch gas pool, but he's prioritizing Overlord speed, which is wild. This is typically not done, especially at this level. Like, your gas is so valuable with how you want to spend it. This is a very safe opener out of EnDerr to rush on in with an Overlord and get a full scout. It's not like last game we saw anything crazy, is the thing. Like, Firefly did open standard last game. He was forced into an all-in, yes, but yeah, interesting choice here from EnDerr. Very interesting choice. The Lings are going to be annihilated. Here we go. The Overlord dips in, confirms the Stargate, confirms the Oracle, and dips on out. I'm curious. So I'm curious if this is a setup, as back at home, spores are being thrown down, queens as well. Yeah, again, really peculiar. This could later on lead into, like, a Ling Queen, maybe like a drop or something, and make further use of the Overlord speed. But yeah, really peculiar to have it invested so early on. I mean, EnDerr behind this is going into Ling speed. He pulls out a gas, and he should be just setting himself up here on 3 bases. Oh, hello, Nish. Hello. The Oracles dive into the main base. The Queens are in position, though, and the Oracles are going to be forced away. Ooh, but they do get quite a lot of larva and even focus down an egg here at the third. My, oh my. Decent damage. At the same time, Lings go for a counterattack. There is one Adept in position, soon to be 3, as 2 more are warped in, and EnDerr can't really do much about that. He heads towards the natural. Adepts do reveal themselves. We get a surround, but can we even kill one Adept? It looks like we can. Okay. We do get at least one Adept if both Oracles dive into the natural base. 2 more drones go down, even a third towards the end. For some hull damage, but the Oracles do manage to escape with their lives. Meanwhile, the Adepts, they commit, but Lings do catch them. With the cleanup of these Adepts, by the way, this third base is that much more vulnerable. We have sentries being morphed in, but we may be forced to force field if the army does rock up. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, I'm a little bit concerned. As we're getting into our builds and we're droning, we have a very similar sight. We have a Forge and a Robo, no Twilight Council. With the prioritization of this Immortal, with these sentries being morphed in as well, this is looking like a very committed push that's on the way. This could go one of 2 ways. Either we commit to an Immortal-based push if we warp in more sentries, and we are morphing in more sentries, by the way. That sentry count is looking very high and very suspicious. The other way you can do this is that you throw down a Robotics Bay, second Robo, Twilight Council, and you tech on up into a death ball of an army with Colossi, with Archons, with Immortals, and just play a very defensive style. We'll keep an eye on the Gateway Explosion, as there's that Twilight Council. Okay, so we're calming down. We're not going all in this time. We're playing safe. Very interesting. Meanwhile, back at home, EnDerr, he's droning quite a bit, actually. He's going to be droning up to 60. Not too bad. He's working towards a Roach Warren. The lair is done. Roach speed is on the way. Overlord comes in for a secondary scout. Does confirm the tech. Does confirm the Twilight Council. But here comes... Oh my god! That's a lot of gateways. That is 8 gates on the way. In addition to the 2 that we already have, this is a 10-gate... what looks to be a 10-gate 3-base all-in. You would never go up to 10 gateways like this without good reason. Charges on the way, Dark Shrine as well, and there goes the Warp Prism. With the Warp Prism, we should be moving out. This is looking very committed. I'm getting mixed signals because of the gases. Typically, we don't need these gases to facilitate an all-in. You can even see in the resources at the moment for Firefly, he has an abundance of gas in the bank, and we're going to be reinforcing with Zealots. So, yeah, interesting choice here from Firefly. Not the most efficient all-in or efficient push here from Firefly, but a push nonetheless. And Overlord is going to get tickled to death by those sentries. Dark Shrine on the way. Again, you can see Firefly is just banking up extra gas than he has minerals, and that's because he took these gases, which typically aren't needed if you're going for a 3-base all-in. As Lings, they do come in for a surround. The Biles! Decent Biles, but the force fields are even better, and the Immortals survive. No shot. The Immortals barely make it out alive. The Warp Prism has arrived as well, so we can, of course, support them. We can juggle them. We can pick them up. We can save them. DTs are morphed in for some Archon, so it's going to be an Immortal, Archon, a charge low push here from a Firefly. But we're taking a 4th. Across the map, the Oracles are going ham. Get a couple of drones. Dip the hell out of there. Oh my god. And there are those Archons on the way. And again, we are just building up towards this push. And this is going to look pretty terrifying out of our Protoss player. Especially because EnDerr, he's working on the next step. I think he's misreading the situation though. Yeah, he is. Basically, the way that he's playing, the way that EnDerr is teching is in case it was Colossus, but this isn't Colossus, which means we're hitting sooner rather than later. For the 4 Colossus timing takes a little bit longer to really get underway, and Firefly is already here, and EnDerr is not ready for this. He's investing into upgrades, into lurkers. We're not going to get there in time. Here we go, Firefly, he has arrived and knocking down the 4th base. Yeah, the 4th base is going to fall. At the same time, the Roach Hydra coming in from behind. We cleaned up some of those Zealots. We're going to be able to get on top of some of these Archons as well, but here come the reinforcements. Here comes another wave of Zealots. I do believe the Firefly has enough to go toe-to-toe with this army. The Biles! Going to be connecting. We do connect with some of those Immortals. Firefly pushing on forward. Again, we are missing Warpins. We have quite a lot banked up. The Immortal does go down. The Archons are falling as well. Firefly is running out of steam. He did kill the base, but it looks like he cannot kill EnDerr. Not yet. Good target firing out of EnDerr as well. He takes down 2 of those Archons. Gonna be kiting back with reinforcements. He should force his back. EnDerr will hold. I mean, quote-unquote hold. He can go for a counter-attack as well. EnDerr, he's kind of forestalled it. We gotta go, Papi. We gotta go. Firefly is warping in back at home. Oh my god, he warps in a line of DTs? Okay. Dark Templar are morphing into those Archons. EnDerr, he backs off. We have a Lunkers on the way. So we're in a really interesting place. I would give the edge to Firefly. EnDerr, he's on 3 bases. He does have Lurker tech, but no Hive. And he has no 4th, and he's down in Workers. That's the problem here. The quality of the army for EnDerr, it's okay. It's not ideal, but it is okay. But Firefly, he's about to be up in bases. He is up in Workers. He has plenty of Archons, plenty of Immortals. Interesting that Firefly hasn't thrown down a Bay, so he has no access to Colossus or Disruptors, even though both would fare well here with this army. But it looks like he doesn't need them because he throws down the Revelation. That's a lot of Lurkers though. Firefly, do we really want to push into this? Uh-oh, he's taking a lot of spines to the face, but the Revelations do land and connect with every single Lurker. Stealth do come in. It looks like Firefly will barely clean this up. He dives on top of the army. GG gets called. And Firefly will take the series 2-0. GG. Ooh. GG, well played. More of a back and forth there in that second game, but that second game was also really quirky as well. It felt like EnDerr was really paranoid, and he was very adept at scouting because of that. But it did feel like he misread the situation. The way that he was building up, the way that he was taking towards Lurkers, that did read as if he had assumed that he was going up against double Robo production and double Colossus production, which is a bit of a greedier thing to go for, and it typically is something that you can tech up to Lurkers against. But we saw that Firefly, he hit a little bit faster, which meant that EnDerr wasn't ready for it, which meant that even though Firefly didn't kill EnDerr with that push, with his first move out across the map, he did kill the 4th base, killed a bunch of queens, and killed all the Workers there as well. He did enough damage with the push, is what I'm getting at, and yeah, with that, he was able to extend that into a lead, into a win. GG, well played, and